Told you I'd be back. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Ambassadorial Wing as we wrap up another Ambassador's Birthday Bash reviews. And today we come to what was supposed to be the end of the View Askew-verse, but thankfully isn't. Today we are going to be discussing Clerks 2. And I hope you all are having a great Sunday afternoon. Hope you all have had a great weekend. I know I certainly have. And I want to take just a minute before we get into all of this, and I want to thank all of you for your messages, for your comments, for your chats wishing me a happy birthday. It does mean a lot. It wouldn't be a birthday without all of you being here each day this past week and today to help me celebrate my 44th year and closing in on 3 years of doing the Ambassadorial Wing. And, you know, this movie, it makes you think. It makes you laugh, but it also makes you think. And also, before people start coming in and everything, before I get into the review, I want to say thank you to all of you who have gone on this journey with me the last 3 years, or even if it's just been for a little bit. And I want to thank all the wonderful people I have met, all the great other content creators I have had the opportunity to work with, the friendships I have made, the journey that we have been on together. And I want to take a minute and express my thanks to all of you, because it wouldn't be much of a birthday. It most certainly wouldn't be much of a channel if it wasn't without all of you watching every day, being here when I'm live, watching when I upload, and all the great conversations we've had, and all of the fun we have most certainly had these last 2.5, almost 3 years of the Ambassadorial Wing. And to say it's been an interesting journey would be an understatement, but it has been. To say it's been all sunshine and roses would be a lie. It hasn't been. There have been difficulties. There have been people that have jumped off the trail, jumped off the path with me, and others that I've had to remove. But aside from that, this has been a great ride. And no, this is not goodbye. This is just me saying thank you and expressing my appreciation for all of you. And whether you're watching this live now on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, or you catch this on the replay, just know that for as long as I'm able to do this, and for as long as y'all go on this journey with me, the Ambassador Wing will always be here. And it will be a place where we discuss, where we debate, and where we celebrate pop culture and cinema and streaming and old retro TV and all those sort of things. All the sort of things that bring a smile to our faces, that make us think, that join us together, that unite us as a community, as fellow ambassadors to one another. So, but with that being said, hold on one second. I gotta adjust my camera just a little bit. So 1 second, guys. Okay. All right, that's a little better. With all that being said, let's jump right into the fun. Clerks 2. And this obviously is a follow-up. This is obviously a continuation of the View Askew-verse. Started all the way back with Clerks, the first one, and continued on through Mallrats and Chasing Amy and Dogma and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and now we have come here. We have come full circle. And this is by far, I think, one of the most this movie is extremely, to say it's bizarre is an understatement, most definitely. But it does have at its core a very, I think, simple message. Is it better to follow the pack, to follow the flock, or to be the renegade and chart your own path? Excuse me. And the journey that Dante and Randall and Elias and Becky and, of course, Jay and Silent Bob all go on throughout this movie. And, of course, Mrs. Dante, or the future would be Dante Hicks, Emma. They experience some things, and they most certainly say some things that most people would not ever experience in their whole life. And I do want to say hello to everybody lurking in the chat or active in the chat, Mr. Ace Mowick. And of course, he was here last night, as was Mr. Jack Beers. Jack, Ace, good to see you both. Appreciate you stopping by. And of course, for anybody that wants to hop on in here this afternoon and talk Clerks 2, links in the chat. It's there. You want to use it? By all means, use it. But this, when I heard that Kevin Smith was doing a Clerks 2 back in the early 2000s, I was like, yes! I didn't get to see the first one on the big screen, but I get to see this one on the big screen, and yes, I did go see Clerks 2 on the big screen, and did it live up to my expectations? That and then some. Because, okay, all right, let's kind of get into the meat of this movie with some of course, my favorite scenes. Now, of course, I've discussed one of my favorite scenes on a previous stream. That was, of course, when I reviewed The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. And one of the many, many, many debates that take place throughout this film. Which is better, the Lord of the Rings trilogy or the original Star Wars trilogy, episodes 4, 5, and 6? And how do I feel? Who do I side with? Do I side with the Lord of the Rings mega geek, or do I side with Randall? I might catch some flack for this one, but I am going to say it. Well, no, yeah, I side with Randall. As much as I love Lord of the Rings, a lot of the criticism or critique that Randall gives in his little rant, yes, it does have some validity to it. Because as he said, even the effing trees walk in those movies. What the F? And yeah, I'm going to try and very hard curtail my swearing because it is Sunday, it is the Lord's Day, and yes, I do observe those sort of things. So there will not be as much verbatim quotation in this review. But yeah, Randall's critique of the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Jack. Yeah, even the trees walk in those movies. And Randall, here's the first movie. Here's the second movie. Here's the third movie. and of course, Randall is like, if Peter Jackson wanted to wow me with those Rings movies, he would have ended it on the logical closure point, not the 20 others that came afterwards. And then the Lord of the Rings made geek is like, what's the logical closure point? Yeah, friend, enlighten us. He's like, apples and oranges. Applesauce. Ace, applesauce. There's your apples and oranges. Applesauce. He's like, when Frodo wakes up from his little coma or whatever, and Sam gives him that very gay look, and the Mega Geek is like, dude, they're not gay, they're hobbits. He's like, I was expecting Sam to walk into the room, tell the other hobbits to go away, so Sam could suck off Frodo. The first time I heard that whole diatribe, I was like, I'm about to die in this theater. I was laughing my head off, and there was a decent crowd in the theater when I watched this, and everybody was like, they were like the two guys saying off to the side when the one guy goes, F and A, man, and his friend is like, yeah. But the audience reaction to the whole rant by Randall and making the super geek throw up, I died. I absolutely positively died. Right after Frodo Sam's suck fest, right before the credits roll, Frodo flat out bricks in Sam's mouth. I died. I so completely died. I'm like, oh my god, there is an image in my mind I never thought I would ever see. I mean, that whole rant by Randall just absolutely made me freaking die. Made me reconsider my opinion briefly for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I had to ask myself, well, does he have a point, or is he just being an ass? And I was like, no, Randall has a point. There his criticism to be given for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And then the super geek's like, well, Peter Jackson won an Oscar, and the Academy recognized him for his skills as an actor, and that's something your little friend George Toyboy Lucas will never have. And I'm thinking, do you think George Lucas really gives a rat's freaking ass about winning an Oscar? The man has more money than. Okay, forgive me, Lord. George Lucas has more money than God. Not that God has money. God doesn't need money. And if he did, he could just manifest it. But anyway, I'm like, that is such a weak, flimsy rebuttal. Peter Jackson won an Oscar. Did George Lucas win an Oscar? No, George Lucas created a universe from whole cloth. Peter Jackson just adapted one. But I will say this. Peter Jackson adapted it better than Amazon currently is. Yeah, I went there. Yeah, I said it. No, I don't regret it. But of the other rather humorous conversations in this movie, the back and forth between Randall and Dante when Randall is giving the poor crippled guy grief on the message board. He's like, this creepy boy's trying to make me feel guilty for having functioning legs, and he's like, I'd rather drive to the end of the block than freaking walk. And Dante's like, dude, the guy is isolated from the world because he's crippled, and you're giving him crap. And he's like, yeah, why do you think I called him Creepy Boy? And no, I want to say something right now before I get any further into the review, before anybody else gets in here. Looking at you, Jack, if you want to come in. No pressure. Really, no pressure. There will be no discussion of the scene with Randall and the derogatory comments about people of color. I will not touch that scene with a 10-foot pole because I can't. I can't do it. I cannot in good conscience. Shut up, Deej. No, it's not the sexy stud. Now, if you want to come in here, Deej, and you want to change your name to the sexy stud, you're more than welcome to. But no, I am not the sexy stud. And no, I don't do inappropriate things with donkeys. But anyway, as I was saying, I am going to skip, complete and utterly skip that particular scene involving Wanda Sykes. Not because I dislike her, but because that is a conversation I simply will not have here. Because even that is going too far over a line that I will not cross. So, that being said, okay, let's move on. Randall and Dante talking about the the crippled guy that Randall is giving 10 million types of grief to. I'm like, Randall, can you not just cut people a freaking break? Well, then, Deej, I just have to say one thing to you. You are a chicken crap. You are a big pile of chicken. And besides, I only did that last night to make you speak. Yeah, Ace, creepy boy. And the fact that Randall confused Helen Keller with freaking Anne Frank. How do you... Obviously, Randall did not do well in history class. And Dante's like, no! Helen Keller was deaf, dumb, and blind. And he's like, well, what was Anne Frank known for? She was the little Jewish girl that hid from the Nazis in a friend's attic with her family and wrote her diary. He's like, oh, right. I'm like, Randall, you idiot. How can you confuse a woman who was deaf, dumb, and blind and who didn't even live at the same time as Anne Frank with Anne Frank? I'm like, geez, Randall, were you dropped on your head as a child? And if so, how many times? It just... it boggles my mind just how at times how utterly dumb Randall can be, but at times very insightful. I mean, he can debate Lord of the Rings and Star Wars back and forth, but he can't keep a simple concept of Helen Keller being a woman who was born deaf, dumb, and blind, separate from a young Jewish girl who was hiding from the Nazis and wrote a diary. Like, come on, Randall, get your head out of your ass and go read a book that it doesn't involve Star Wars or the Lord of the Rings, for the love of fate. And of course, all the back and forth between Randall and Elias. And okay, Elias. Elias. What can you say about Elias? That boy. Elias has issues. Elias has a lot of issues, and man, is he gullible, even for a very sheltered Christian boy. I mean, jeez, Elias, you think the GoBots are better than Transformers, and you... No! Just no! No, Elias, no. Just no, Elias, no. No. Transformers are a million times better than GoBots. But they make reference to the fact that they were going to that a live action Transformers movie is going to be made in this movie, and I'm like, I was like at the time I was like, ooh, a live action Transformers movie. This should be interesting. And yeah, it's even though it's Michael Bay, it should still be good. And the first one was good. But then he did another. And another. And another. And another. And another. And I'm like, Michael Bay, you're destroying my childhood and you must pay for it. Oh, here's Jack. Here's Jack. Hey, Jack.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, bud. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm
So,
good. So Clerks 2. Wow.
yeah,
That so I feel like out of all of his movies, Clerks 2 is probably the wildest. I mean, I know Dogma has like angels and stuff,
yeah.
um but just the ruckus that they cause in that movies over the course of one day.
One day, one day.
Yes. Yes, and it's supposed to be Randall, or it's supposed to be Dante's last day because he's gonna go off and get married, and
Mm-hmm.
um, they had, the store had burned down like a year before, and so now they're all working at movies because Randall decided to leave like the coffee pot on or something like that.
Yeah. Left the coffee pot on. What's the first words out of his mouth? Well, geez, where am I going to bring girls to screw them after when my mom is home? I'm like,
Right.
oh, and here's a fun fact. I didn't know if you knew this, Jack. The house that Randall comes out of is actually, I think, Kevin Smith's parents' house. I
That's
think.
you're probably right. Because because his house got flooded.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think what happened was all that stuff happened. He filmed it before everything was flooded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think you're right.
And of course, Randall just had to wrangle across the hood of Dante's car. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Show some respect for your friend who's giving you a lift. Well, Jack, let
What
me ask. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the dynamic between the two is it's a very simple dynamic. You got Randall, who's like the happy-go-lucky dude, who's
Mm-hmm.
he's pretty happy with where he's at. He doesn't want to change. Kind of a slacker and everything.
Yeah.
And all he does is watch movies and talk crap about them. And Dante, even in the first Clerks, he wasn't happy with the station. And then in the
Mm-hmm.
second one, he was still not happy with the station. He was trying to move on. He's trying to get married and take over this car wash business in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that didn't work out because of he ended up sleeping and impregnating Becky. Uh,
Yeah.
so that turned into an issue. My
Yeah.
my One of my favorite parts of that whole thing was the dance
Mm-hmm.
sequence.
Yes, I have to admit the dance sequence. It put a big smile on my face. And hey, who knew Rosario Dawson could dance? I mean, we know she can wield a
Oh
lightsaber
my,
like a badass, but
yeah, like I think I developed a crush on her just by watching her dance in that scene.
well, let's be honest here. Rosario Dawson, she's she is a great. I think she's a really solid actress.
Hmm.
But at times she does some movies where you're like, Rosario, no, no, don't do Alexander. No, don't do Alexander. Please don't do Alexander. And she did Alexander anyway. But then, of
Right.
course, we got her as live action Ahsoka Tano, and all is right in the universe.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no, she is perfect as live action Ahsoka. Like they
yeah,
got her down. Like she's great.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm so
oh,
glad that they picked her up for that, and that she
yeah,
works. Yeah.
yeah. She looks great. So, and well, we might as well get this over with, ladies and gentlemen. Making his return once again. You know him, you love him, Mr. DJ Odyssey, aka King.
Hee-haw! Hee-haw! Hee-haw!
Hail Kinky Kelly.
Hello, Deej.
Hee-haw!
If you don't stop doing that, I'm going to mute your mic. How are you doing, Deej?
Good. I just thought we'd bring Kinky Kelly up since the sexy stud's birthday is this week, and well,
No,
I,
my birthday was this past week.
well, it's still whatever.
Anyway. And Ace is like, I had a crush on her because of Sin City. Yeah, she was pretty badass in Sin City.
Yes.
So her and so Deej, any comment on any of the things that I brought up, or me and Jack have brought up, and everything about Clerks too?
Nope.
And
I just had to show you that Kinky Kelly is nice and happy out in the pastures. You can see she has friends in the background and
all right, Deej.
She's retired, right? I hope she's retired.
retired.
Good.
Still makes an occasional cameo, but you know,
Right.
there might be a
Deej.
Kinky Kelly OnlyFans page, but
All right, Deej. I know you have something to say about this movie besides Kinky Kelly. So come on.
no,
Yes, you do. Now come on.
no, oh no, I just wanted to do this one to make you uncomfortable.
I'm not uncomfortable.
Why is your eyes closed? Why are you shaking your head a lot? Yes, you're uncomfortable.
No, I'm not. And my eyes are not shut. My eyes are open. Hello, you
Well,
can see
now
'em.
they are.
They have been, you putz. Anyway, Jack, you're okay. Let me ask you a question: Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
Star Wars.
That's the right answer.
Hmm. I mean, I like them both, but if I had to choose, Star Wars.
Yeah, and that whole sequence between Randall and the super geek. I'm
Right.
like, oh man.
I love that. Where it's like you've already described it, but it's like here's the first movie, and he walks a couple steps. Here's the second movie, he walks a couple steps and then almost trips over. And then here's the third movie, walks up, stops, looks down, takes off, throws it in the volcano,
And shrugs his shoulders.
and shrugs his shoulders.
I
That
love
that scene, I remember when I first saw it in theaters, like the entire audience, including myself, the entire audience was just
dying.
cracking up. Yeah, it's cracking up. And then like he eventually talks about like the Frodo bricking in the mouth, and the guy throws up.
Yeah, the other part of this, the one of the other things about this movie is I feel bad. I honestly feel bad for Elias because he is so freaking repressed.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I am a Christian. I am a very devout Christian, but even I am not that repressed.
True.
And
and like you feel bad because Randall picks on him too.
yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think Randall's trying to be like cruel to Elias. I think he's trying to get like, dude, loosen the hell up. And well, what does it take for Elias to loosen up? 2 joints and some beer.
A couple of joints and some beer. Woo, we gonna get laid.
and Jay's like, what kind of sick effort or thing gets turned on by a
donkey show?
A donkey show.
Sorry,
and Jay points over at Elias, and Elias says, well, thankfully
I'm sorry, Jesus.
I'm sorry, Jesus.
Oh my!
And then go ahead, Jack.
And the jail afterwards, where he's like, his butt is all out.
Yeah, and it says on his underwear, WWJD. What would Jesus do?
Yeah.
I don't think Jesus would do what you just did, Elias. No way. He would be like, you are a very disturbed young man. I think you have a demon in you, and I'm going to exorcise it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, dude, the big dude's gonna cornhole that ass with his wiener. Becky's like, hold that thought. We got to see this.
And okay. I know we're kind of bouncing around in the movie, but with the movie like this, you can't. When Becky's like, I'm shocked and disgusted, and I can't turn away. It's just, I don't think I could I would be like, I got guys. No, I'm sorry, I'm out. I'm not like, no, I can't. I'm out. I'm done. No, I'm out. Randall, no, I'm out. And Randall, you are a sick, twisted individual, and I'm going to go home and earnestly pray for your soul because you have issues.
It's from the way they spoke to each other. It seemed like they talked to each other about doing one of these things one day, but they never did it. And then so that when Randall decided to do it, it was probably because they had talked about it. In fact, there was a line like, "We're going to do something we've talked about forever and we never do," or something like that. I think he says.
Well, they okay. I have seen the movie Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. But
Mhm.
I do not recall. Now, granted, it's been forever since I've seen that movie. I do not recall there being a scene like that in that movie, unless I just don't remember it or I watched an edited version of the movie and they cut it out.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, so I'm not really sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
you watched an edited version.
Oh dear Lord, Deej. Okay, that's all. That's all I need to hear. Bring up
You,
Aces Comedy.
you had to have, because they brought the damn donkey in Bachelor Party up to the hotel room.
I don't remember that. Granted, I haven't seen Bachelor Party in like decades, literal decades. It's been many years since I've seen. Like Randall said, I'd like to have the question answered whether or not a chick will, with a mouth full of horse punk, spits or swallows.
Well, I think the sexy stud swallowed.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. And the thing that disturbed me is the fact they're all sitting in the jail and the sexy stud's like, I miss my donkey. I'm like, dude, you need to get yourself a girl badly.
I'm surprised when he said oh the most I'll get is a fine or something like that. I was like,
Yeah,
will they at least take your donkey away? Because
I hope so. I really hope so. I hope, because that is abuse to animals. That is
well, of course, yeah,
wrong.
of
That is
course.
very, very wrong.
Here, I'm
Yeah.
sharing a screenshot from the movie Bachelor Party.
Oh dear. All right, let's bring it up here. Do not play it.
Okay, yeah.
It's just a picture. It's not a
Oh,
video.
okay.
But that shows that the donkey was in the scene in the motel room when they were having the bachelor party.
Oh dear Lord. Okay. Okay, I am definitely never going to watch that movie now.
How do you like my new picture?
Oh, it's cute.
And that's not meant, Deej. Deej, that is not meant for you. That is not meant for you. So don't take that as meant for you. It's not meant for you. It's meant for the at on the crew of Discover of Star Trek Picard.
Yes, crew. After hours after the stream last night, you missed the real fun.
I can only imagine.
Oh no, I'm talking about you and your reaction after I told you what happened in
Oh,
Picard. The real
yeah.
fun.
Oh, last night was a load of fun. And greetings to the chat. Well, Alicia Victoria Parker and CJ. Good to see you both. And again, thank you, CJ. I appreciate it. Granted, it's well past my birthday now. My birthday was Wednesday, but thank you. And but okay, we've talked about the donkey scene. We've talked about the Lord of the Rings scene. Let's move on to something else.
That the conversation between Dante and Randall when he finds out that Becky's pregnant.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the because he's telling Randall, like, hey, don't screw me over, on this one. You've done it before, but this time, like, this is serious. And then as soon as Becky walks out, may your baby be,
May your first
healthier.
child be a masculine child, a quote from The Godfather. And poor Jay, he's just trying to take a leak, and keeps getting that steel door bashed in his back. He's like, "What the f?" And he's like, "What the hell again, dude? What's going on?"
And then Dante actually swings that round. He's like, "You swung at me. You ducked because you swung at me."
Well, I would too, and I would make sure I didn't miss. I would make sure Randall landed on his ass.
Right.
I mean, you screwed me over again. And Jay and Silent Bob, well, Bob can keep his mouth shut, but Jay can't.
Nope.
He's
and
like,
then, which, if going back to that scene, like, he's the one who tells Emma about Becky being pregnant. And then like, throws the pie in his face. Hey,
No,
hit
it
that
was a
big time
cake.
like this. Oh, it was him with the
It was
cake.
cake.
And honestly, it didn't even look like honestly, that cake didn't even look that good. I think she did a crappy job decorating it. Can I be honest?
Well, yeah, whoever decorated that cake, yeah, yeah.
And who puts a tree on a cake?
Tree hugger.
Shut up, Deej.
Or Stephen Walton.
And then that's when he tells. Well, it's because the trailer comes with a donkey, but that's when he tells Dante to go after her. Right.
Goes after Becky. Yeah.
And so they have that drive, and they have that little montage with the turn and that song, which I really like.
1979 by Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, it's real
I
good.
love Smashing Pumpkins. One of my all-time favorite bands. Like,
I love Smashing Pumpkins too at Halloween.
We're talking about the band, Deej, not the act. So get your head on straight.
So a little bit of trivia. The when he parks in front of that restaurant and the little girl looks back at him, that's actually Harley Quinn Smith, Kevin Smith's daughter.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember them mentioning that was actually Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
she's cute.
She is. Yeah,
she is. She's adorable.
And she was also she was also Baby Bob in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
You're kidding. It looks so much like a boy.
Well, yeah, they dressed her up like a boy, yeah.
Okay.
All babies look the same. They all look like little aliens.
Just because you were a hideous as a child doesn't mean everybody else was.
But there's behind the scenes footage from Jay and Bob Strike Back, where they're trying to film that scene with her, and she's completely like crying. She's like she doesn't want to do it, and it takes a while to calm her down, and then they finally get it. They finally get the scene.
Yeah. I'll bring up Ace's comment here. The conversation they have while driving back from the go-karts became relatable once I hit 30. It was relatable to me the day I saw it, and yeah, I can't remember. I think we all look back on our lives at a certain point. We're like, has my life just been another waste? And you have to, you've made some mistakes in life, sure. But I like to believe that no, my life has not been a complete and total waste.
It's all leading towards something.
Yeah. And what Randall says when they get back into the movies, he's like, everything I do is leading up to something. I'm not just pissing away my time. And this movie really is about, looking at your life as you get older.
Agreed.
And, the whole rant by Dante when they're in the jail cell, he's like, I was finally going to start my life. I was finally going to get out of this crap hole town, gonna go down to Florida, marry Emma, run one of her father's car washes, and start my
Life. Yeah.
Randall Graves free existence.
Right.
And he absolutely lures the boom on Randall. And I can understand to a point what Dante is saying, because we've all had that one friend who just seems to just be a constant screw up,
Hmm.
and we just don't ever want to shake him out of our life. But Randall's like, dude, what the hell? I have been your best friend. He's like, you balanced me out. He's like, you were the yin to my yang.
Hmm. Yeah.
Eh,
He breaks down basically. He's like, you're my best friend and I love you. He says I love you.
yeah,
Which I would never have thought he would say that to anybody.
Dante maybe because they have been together for so long.
Right.
I've had, I have a, a handful of friends from like my elementary through high school days that I still keep in constant contact with, or at least not constant, but we talk at least on a semi periodic basis. So I can understand how much that can devastate Randall, because if one of my friends were to say that to me, I'd be like,
That would hurt.
that would absolutely, like, okay, what did I do to hurt you this badly? And in Randall's case, he really doesn't realize what he's done has wounded Dante.
Hmm.
But at the same time, Randall was right on a couple of points. He's like, one, you should have just stuck with Becky, broken up with Emma. And I will say this about Emma. She's kind of mean.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah. In fact, look, he probably wouldn't have been any happier marrying her,
no,
and
he would have
starting
been
that.
stuck.
Yeah, he'd have been stuck. Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that he was always afraid of, especially in the first Clerks movie. He was afraid of being stuck in the, just working in this quick stop for the rest of his life or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And and so that's why he wants to go. But I don't think he realizes what he actually wants until the end of the movie.
Yeah, because he realizes he is in love with Becky. He is.
Right.
And I think the issue with Becky is I think she has maybe moderate trust issues, which I can get. We all do, I think, to one degree or another at one point in our lives, have trust issues with other people, particularly
Hmm.
people that we might have a attraction to. And she's like, I love you, but not in a romantic way. And then when she finally fesses up, and Dante, he pulls into the drive-through there at the movies, and she's like, that'll be $5.79 or something, and
He hands her the
she
ring.
he has an engagement ring, and she jumps into the car, and she's like, took you damn well long enough.
Right. And that's the first time I feel like that's the first time you see uh, Dante truly happy, because
Yeah.
he's
Hmm.
something that came up. Dante was never happy. He wasn't happy in the first Clerks. For the most part of the second Clerks, he wasn't happy. He wouldn't have been any happier if he had married Emma.
No,
You
no
know,
way.
so this was the probably the best decision for him.
Yeah.
And
No,
And
but if he had married Emma, he would have had a
a
car
car
wash
wash.
run,
True.
a house, car.
Well, he ended up having his own store. He ended up buying the quick
Yeah,
stop.
yeah,
So
yeah. Thanks to Jan, that's a big plot hole that I
no, it isn't.
don't agree. No, it
No,
is
it isn't.
because
No, it
Jay and
isn't.
Silent Bob could not have made that much money off of Blunt Man and Chronic because everybody on the internet said it sucked so bad, and they were using their money to fly all over to beat up kids, priests, and businessmen.
That movie probably made more money than we realize, and there is a deleted scene. He's like, "Hey, remember there was a movie made about us?
yeah,
We made we ma-" And they probably, you know, They probably didn't burn through all of that. I mean, it probably went on to. I mean, okay, conservatively, let's say that movie made like $100 million, conservatively. Maybe $90 million, and the budget wasn't terribly high. Not to mention, depending on how long it was from Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back to Clerks 2, you've got video sales, you've got merchandising. They would have gotten a cut of all that too.
Probably,
Well,
yeah.
well, it couldn't
So,
have been. It couldn't have been that long because the time difference between Clerks 1 and 2 was 10 years. So Jay and Silent Bob had to have fallen somewhere within only about 2 years of Clerks
uh,
2.
maybe, but still, okay, let's say maybe 1 or 2 years since Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back came out. You've still got all the royalties from home video sales. You've got the royalties from it being played on TV. Potentially, you've got the royalties from all the merchandising. They would get a percentage of that, not just Banky and not just the studio. So they would conceivably have the money to give to. I mean, they were only asking for like what, $50,000.
How much did they
So,
spend flying all over the place?
and
I'm
well, okay, but here's the thing: airplane tickets in the late '90s, they weren't that expensive.
Well, Jay and Silent Bob came out in 2001, didn't it?
No, Jay and Silent Bob came out, I think, like 98 or 99, somewhere along in there.
Okay, huh? Okay, could have sworn. All right.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty. I think Jay and Silent Bob came out like the last couple of years of the '90s, somewhere along in there.
Okay.
So,
But we're just using a timeline that it was only 10 years between Clerks 1 and Clerks 2, and all the other movies supposedly fell somewhere in that 10-year gap.
okay. So let's say Jay and Silent Bob's been out for a couple of years. They would conceivably have the money to give to Dante and Randall to reopen the Quick Stop.
And remember, that was just a loan. So once they made that money back, they would get, they would pay them. They
Oh,
would pay Jay and Bob back.
it,
But
it
Yeah.
was
I do
a
feel like
loan. It was a loan and a guarantee that they could stand out in front of the store without being cops being called on them.
true.
Yeah.
But then it turns into, like, I know we're moving ahead, but then it turns from them like standing out in front of the store to them actually running the store in the next movie, which is Reboot.
I have not seen reboots, so I didn't know. And Ace is
Okay.
answering the question. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back came out in 2000. Okay. So, okay. I mean, for the long and short of this is it's all hypothetical. And Jay and Silent Bob did have the money to give to Dante and Randall. It was only $50,000. Let's say they got 20 million. That's not that much.
Do you
Out of
think
there.
they were smart enough though to figure out they could get that much?
Probably.
I mean, yeah, Bob seemed like he was the lawyer in Strike Back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
see,
Bob was the brains of the operation, and Bob would know. I think Bob would also know, let's put this money into a high interest savings account,
smart.
and just they could pull out what they needed as they needed. And I mean, yeah, okay, they were still dealing pot, obviously, but that was more of a side thing more than anything, and they were having to be careful because, well, they were still, well, Jay was on probation. Well, they were both on probation.
Right. For
So,
for deployed airbag while they were driving or something like that. That actually happened.
oh, to Jason Mewes.
Yeah, Jay actually got arrested one time because he was driving around with a deployed airbag because he had crashed his car into someone, and then he kept going,
Mm-hmm.
and he eventually abandoned the car at in an intersection, ran into a studio, ran into a friend who was filming something in the studio, and then was part of that cast. Became part of the
Oh dear
cast.
Lord.
So he got lucky. He got lucky there, but then he turned himself in and eventually turned himself in and
Mhm.
got probation,
Okay.
rehab too.
And obviously it stuck, thankfully. Oh, no small part
Eventually
to
it did. Eventually
yeah.
it did. But he did have a couple of hiccups here and there, especially when they were making Cop Out. That was the last time. That was the last time he was on. He's found himself on Vicodin.
Mm, mm,
He stopped doing heroin and coke and stuff like that, but now he was taking Vicodin pills, and he was wasting all their money. And Jordan, his wife Jordan, was like, talking to Kevin like, he works all the time, but we have no money. I don't know where it's going. And they find out that he's been taking these Vicodin pills.
mm.
Um, so Jason was supposed to be a stunt driver on Cop Out
Mhm.
until Kevin found out about this, and he had to fire Jason because safety reasons.
Yeah, obviously,
Yeah,
which makes sense.
which I think that really woke up Jason as well,
Yeah,
because he almost lost Jordan off of that as well. So
good for him. I mean, really. And kind of steering this back to the movie, Jay and Silent Bob, they're kind of back to they're back to true form. They're the mischief makers. They've got the boom box, and I cannot believe
oh yes,
they that boom box and some of the music they play on that, and they're like, Grandma, what was it like to be on that holiday site? And I'm like, I don't even know what song that's from or what band does it, but I'm like, okay, that's creepy sounding.
oh when he did like when he does the goodbye voices
Goodbye
as well,
Horses.
or
Oh,
horses.
from and he's parodying
Yeah,
Buffalo
he's
Bill from The Silence of the Lambs.
hmm
Oh Lord, that is so creepy. Like, I don't want to see Jason Mewes nude, even if he's got it tucked in. Anytime I come to that scene, I know I'm coming to that scene. I hold my hand up to the TV screen. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch the rest of the scene, and I don't want to see you, Jason, not from the waist down. Skinny, bony ass wearing Silent Bob's trench coat. Gee. I'm sorry, I
that
hear that song.
that trench coat has seen more naked people. First Chris Rock,
And now Jay.
now Jay. I'm pretty sure Bob's worn it naked too. So
Possibly. For all we know. No, Jack, I do want to ask you a question. At the end of the movie, Jay's got a hoodie on that says Justice TF.
yeah,
What exactly does that mean? Do you know?
Justice was his girlfriend in Jay and Silent
Well, I
Bob
remember
Strike
that,
Back.
but what is the TF about?
Um, I don't know. I don't know what the TF stands for, to be honest.
Hmm. Okay. I just wondered. And do want to say hello to the chat. George, good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. And, well, yeah, we all love Clerks too. It has everything. It has Randall making Lord of the Rings super geeks throw up. It has interspecies erotica
Hmm.
and other various shenanigans. It has Dante and Becky talking about screwing on a prep table in her game, mayo in her cooch, as she so eloquently put it.
Ew, that's my prep table.
Who gives a crap, Randall? And they come back. They come back from the go kart course, and like Randall's giving Elias 3 million times of grief. What does the friar have to do? Transform into a robot to make you respect it?
Kept calling him GoBot.
Go bot. He's like, I would even touch. He's like, I would screw a girl with the torch of Gondor, and Elias is like, dude, you're so gross.
Yeah,
And okay,
Elijah was a good addition to the cast, to be honest. Like,
he was.
yeah,
He really was. Okay, and we've got to talk about the biggest prick in the history of the View Askew-verse, and that was, of course, Lance Dowds, played by Jason Lee. First he plays a demon, then he plays an asshole.
Yes, the internet millionaire, the .com millionaire, right?
Oh, a more punchable face I have never seen in my life. Of
Especially
course.
with the mustache they give him.
Oh man, he looked like Earl. From that series that he was in.
Right.
My Name Is Earl. He looked like every a-hole that I had to wait on when I used to work at McDonald's.
Right. Yeah.
And yes, I have worked fast food. I have worked at McDonald's. I worked there for like 2 years after my divorce from my first wife, and it was hell.
This cow tater tastes like piss and flies.
Yeah, that's because it has the soda was made with ice from the urinal, and Randall got flies off of the fly strip in the kitchen.
You know why he looked like Earl?
Because he was probably shooting My Name Is Earl during when that movie was being shot.
Yep.
Hey, is there anybody else from our high school class back there? I'm like, yeah, your mother. That's what I would have said. Yeah, your mother. And that whole scene, that whole sequence reminds me of another movie that I don't know if either one of you have ever seen. It's called Waiting.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It stars Ryan Reynolds, not Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Oh, what the hell's the other guy's name? That looks like almost like a copy. Justin Long. Let's see who else is in it. Dane Cook is a cook. Luis Guzman. And it takes place in a restaurant, kind of like a TGI Fridays or an O'Charlie's or something like that. Oh, hey, George is here. Hey, George.
Hey, guys.
Let me finish my point, and then I'll let you take a turn. But anyway, Waiting. It takes place in a restaurant, kind of like an O'Charlie's or a TGI Fridays or whatever. And there is a scene where a waitress is having to deal with a extremely bitchy customer, and yes, the customer is a woman. And the cook and they're all the wait staff and the cooks are back there, and they're like, "Do we have our first bitch of the night?" And the waitress is like, "She's a effing bitch, do it." And they completely obliterate the customer's steak and mashed potatoes. I mean it. They put pubic hair on the steak. They spit in the gravy. They put dandruff on the steak. It is just, but the character that Ryan Reynolds plays says the customer broke the cardinal rule: never F with somebody who cooks your food. And that is true. And I cannot blame Randall one iota for what he did to Lance. So, George, good to have you, buddy. It's been a little bit. Your thoughts on Clerks 2?
All right, so as you probably are aware, Clerks is one of my favorite movies of all time. I was on that stream like last weekend. So Clerks 2 is probably one of my favorite comedy sequels that has been ever made. The first time I saw it, I actually did have a rough day at work. So I came home and I saw this on that streaming service Tubi, where it's free, but you got to watch ads. So I was like, you know what? I need something to cheer me up. And it was just a reminder that Dante has worse days at work than I do.
Oh yeah, poor Dante.
What he went through in this film. Oh my goodness! Like when it looks like he's finally getting his life on track, like so much is thrown at him once again. And the character Elias, I know you guys were talking about Elias before. I heard someone say like Elias was one of the worst additions to this universe. I think he's one of the best additions.
I think so too. So I'm not going to say anything about Clerks 3, but he's in Clerks 3 and he's really good.
Yeah, he was fun, even funnier in that film.
Yeah.
Like without spoiling it. But yeah, like his addition, like being the Transformers Lord of the Rings fan, and I don't know if you guys talked about the Lord of the Rings Star Wars debate yet, but that was probably my favorite scene in
We
the film.
have, but you can go ahead and give your thoughts, George, by
Oh
all
man!
means.
So as someone who loves both trilogies, I just love Randall's interpretation of the Lord of the Ring movies. How it's just simply walking, and even the trees were walking, and it tells an interesting part of like what the early 2000s were like as well. This is a mid 2000s film, and you gotta remember in the early 2000s we had the prequel trilogy, and then we had the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So like Kevin Smith knows how to utilize what's happening at a certain point of time in pop culture, and you kind of see that in his more recent films, not just Clerks 2.
Mm-hmm. So, Deej, you've been kind of quiet.
Well, I've been doing investigations on your Justice TF.
Okay, what have you discovered?
The most that I can figure out is TF means the fuck, and it's supposed to be just an exclamation of justice, the fuck. That's the whole thing.
Okay.
And they put out a t-shirt that says Justice TF. Kevin Smith did. That's it. That's all I can find.
Okay. Well, aside from that, Deej, your thought, and aside from the donkey scene, your thoughts on Clerks 2, please.
Clerks 2, it was a good film. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was much better than Chasing Amy. So,
burn the heretic, burn him, burn the heretic.
What do you mean? Clerks 1 is way better than Clerks 2.
I'd say they're equally good.
Nope, Clerks 1's
yes.
better.
Well, they're equally good.
I gotta say this about Kinky Kelly. Like I had it like before the scene, like I knew what the step was gonna be, but I was not expecting who Kelly was and who the sexy stud was. And like at first I was like, good lord, what am I watching? And then like I couldn't help but just like laugh hysterically. I was like in tears at that scene.
It's like, where's Kelly? Right here. I thought that was the sexy stud. I'm the sexy stud. but this donkey's a dude. Kelly can be a boy's name too. Due to some nomenclature confusion, there's not going to be a chick.
There is no chick.
Oh my! Oh my goodness!
To say that Kevin Smith knows how to push the boundaries is an understatement. I mean, first he has a young woman unknowingly screw a dead man, and in this movie you have, well, I'll put it as the guy put it, interspecies erotica.
Mm-hmm.
He always knows how to like. He knows how to like touch upon things that would be taboo in other franchises, but he can pull it off, and not just in his Clerks movies, but in other movies as well.
Yeah. Now I'm going to say this, and I don't want to repeat what is said in this particular part of the movie, but the scene with Wanda Sykes, that's all I'll say. And I think you'll all get it. The scene with Wanda Sykes.
I thought you were going to touch that one.
I'm not going to quote it because I will get canceled, and justifiably so.
Obviously.
But we can. I will discuss it. And Deej, I swear, if you screw
I'm
me
not
on this,
saying a word. I'm not saying a word.
You even think about quoting this, I will.
I'm not going to say a word.
You're saying a lot of words, but you even think about quoting that scene, I will.
I'm not going to quote it. I will
Good.
not quote it. I will not even talk about the scene.
We can talk about the scene. I'm just not going to quote it.
I'm not going to.
Chicken shit.
That's right.
What's a cock stain?
That's the one thing we can't say. The whole sequence.
Hey, Wanda Sykes down.
You change your avatar until you are coming back on, Deej.
All I can say about
I don't want to see that face. That's better. I'd rather see dead Q than Wanda Sykes. To say Randall doesn't have a clue is an understatement. Like, oh yeah, I guess my grandmother was kind of racist, and Dante's like, you think?
Right.
Like he Off all the things his grandmother said and that he has said, I am amazed. Okay, I don't know if Wanda Sykes was actually in there on the day when that scene was shot, but if she did, she must have had incredible restraint, or she must have realized, okay, it's just a movie. Man,
they did a lot of improv in that scene.
She probably helped him because you look at what they did in Blazing Saddles. Richard Pryor wrote a lot of that some of them were uncomfortable with saying on the screen.
Yeah, that's true too. So yeah, you might be right. She might have actually. And to the chat, Tim's talk. Tim, I haven't been 21 for over 20 years. I'm 44, and I've already celebrated my birthday. This is just the wrap up.
This is him celebrating his 21st birthday party for being 44.
Yeah,
I'm not that old, Deej. I'm not a fossil like you.
Hey, there's still a few that are older than me.
Yeah, but at least they don't talk about doing inappropriate things with a donkey.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, I'm just repeating the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, sure man. You are, Deej. Sure you are. But yeah, to say that Kevin Smith went out on a limb with that particular scene involving Wanda Sykes is an understatement.
I think Randall alone in this film said a lot of stuff that today would really get his ass kicked
right.
Not just the scene with Wanda Sykes, but that's the ass to mouth stuff they're talking about before, some of the stuff he was saying. I was like, good Lord, man.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I have not been a virgin for many years, and I have never, until this movie, even heard of ass to mouth. I had to look it up, what the hell does that even mean? I'm like, oh crap, that's what that means?
I had to look it up too, so don't feel too bad.
Okay, and I don't feel quite as guilty. Deej, shut up.
I didn't say a word.
You don't have to. I can see the smirk on your face through your audio avatar. That smirk right there. You sick, twisted old man.
Well, hey, George, get it right. I'm a provert, not a pervert, because I'm a pro at it.
Nope, you're a pervert.
No, I'm a provert. I'm a pro at it.
So, George, let me ask you: have you ever gone ass to mouth?
Oh my goodness!
You never go ass to mouth.
Oh my god! Oh Lord! Oh man!
I should put a poll in the chat. Who here has gone ass to? You know what? I'm gonna do it.
No. None of us have done rim jobs. We've not done rim jobs.
With the character of Becky, she must be very used to Randall's antics to not really be all that surprised that was the conversation she walked into.
True. True.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, even after the Wanda Sykes scene, she didn't fire him. She was like, "You're this close to getting shit canned."
Yeah. You're this
really? That wasn't it? That wasn't enough?
Well, think of it this way. She thinks this is the last day Dante's gonna be there. She's she's only she's gonna be left with Randall and Elias. And I kind of felt bad for Elias in that scene because she tells him to shut up, even though he's just so lost as to what's going on.
He's like, "What the hell did I do?" But there's just sometimes where you're like, I'm done, so don't even. I'm done, so don't even. I know, I've been there.
I will say,
go ahead, George.
One thing this movie did that I don't know if I should love it or hate it for doing it. It got that King Diamond song stuck in my head.
Which one?
Let me help you out of your chair, Grandma.
Oh, that's who sings that song? I didn't know that. I really didn't. I did not know who did that.
Jason comes out of nowhere and just goes through the drive-thru window and starts pushing.
Grandma, what was it like to be on the holiday side? I woke to strange voices singing loudly.
Oh my god.
And Eliza's like, Randall, I don't like talking about dark forces, and he runs away and he forgets to take his headphones off, and he lands flat on his back.
Well, Ambassador, I hate to run, but I've got to prepare for some streams for tonight.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I have Jackbox to do later over on Hansard and all
Oh,
this.
Deej is here. Okay, perfect. Okay, bye, Deej.
Bye.
Bye.
And as I leave you, just remember one thing.
No, you're gone. Bye. And everybody give a very warm welcome to a regular here. You know him. You love him. We all love him. MB Grandpa Geek. Hello, Geek.
Hey.
Yes, I'm laying in my bed. Yes, I'm laying in my bed. Deal with it.
I don't care.
I have two questions. Where the hell do you get off stealing my co-host?
I didn't steal anybody. He came on his own.
And number two, Jack, it's September, man. Where's Bones?
Oh, right there.
Oh, there he is. Oh, thank God.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I need to set it up so where like you can see him, but
oh, I like the new look for Bones this year.
Well, I mean, he still has the Freddy stuff going, but yeah.
I don't recall you having that last year. I don't remember the Freddy stuff last year.
Well, I think it was like because I have a bunch of different things I'll put on him every so often. So I think one of them was the Freddy. One of them's like the Beetlejuice outfit. Stuff like that.
Sorry, Ambassador. We
No, you're not. You do this all the time. And by the way, I didn't steal anybody. He came on of his own accord, so zip it. So, Geek,
I'm screwing with you. You know that.
I know you were. So, your thoughts, Geek, Clerks 2. Love it, hate it. If you say you've never seen it, I will kick you off the stream.
The simple thing is I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen it in a long ass time, but Smith is very hit or miss for me. Jack, I know, is very, very much loves his stuff.
Hi, me too. George.
You too, of course. Me, he's hit or miss. They're either really memorable or really forgettable for me. In the Clerks movies were very forgettable. I don't remember much about them. I don't remember much about Chasing Amy or Mallrats. Dogma and like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I could talk about all day.
Then why are you here?
To say hi and just give my perspective on that. I just, well, okay, I'll leave if you want me to.
No, don't leave. I'm giving you a hard time. But you should have been here here yesterday. I talked about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Dogma. Why weren't you here yesterday?
I was busy.
I was busy.
I do have a life outside my computer.
I have a life inside my computer.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ambassador.
But no, I mean, it's been the thing with Kevin Smith for me, and I mentioned this with my wife, Madam Geek. I just said, she's not really a fan of his. Her ex-husband was a very big fan, and would very much be probably like Jack Beers and know those movies ins and outs and probably the behind the scenes stuff. And I mean that in a good way, Jack. You know that. But for me, he's just one of those directors that I don't know. It's either I can't say I like it or hate it. I can only say I either remember it or it goes over my freaking head. And I just toss it away like 1,500 other things. And
I will make this comment briefly. I did my review of Chasing Amy the other night with Deej, and we came to a conclusion. And I think it's a conclusion we all could kind of agree with. Holden McNeil is an idiot.
Sure.
I don't understand the ending of that movie, Chasing Amy. I didn't understand the closing part of it. I mean, let me rephrase it. The whole threesome thing, the whole he's trying to work this thing out with her.
That was cringe.
I literally was like, how did you come to that conclusion?
I mean, let's be honest here. Dante is smarter than Holden McNeil. Really?
Oh,
Dante is smarter than Holden. At least Dante didn't try to proposition a threesome between himself, Emma, and Becky. I mean, jeez, Holden, you freaking imbecile.
Well, that was the part right there that killed the movie for me. That part right there. It was like, wait a minute. Okay, Ben Affleck, and this is way back early in Ben Affleck's career. I'm kind of like, how did you think this was a good storyline? I mean, it was good up until that point. It was kind of like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I mean, okay, he finds out that Alyssa has had a three-way when she was in high school. In high school!
And he can't handle that shit.
She didn't even know him at the time. He didn't even know her at the time, and he's like all freaking out and crap. And I said this. I can only watch Chasing Amy maybe once every 5 years. I can watch Clerks 2 maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I can watch Dogma 2 or 3 times a year. I can watch any of the other View Askew movies 2 or 3 times a year, except for Chasing Amy. I mean, for heaven's sakes, Mallrats has one of the greatest cameos in the history of cinema. Freaking Stan Lee. Now, I know everybody has issues between Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. I get that. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, God, do we have to go into that again?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
But I'm just saying. Going to go on. That whole argument is going to go on long after we're dead.
But, I'm just saying this. In terms of just cameos, Stan Lee in Mallrats is one of the greatest cameos of all time.
I will admit that was a hilarious cameo by him, and the whole thing being about talking about,
relationships. Yeah.
Hulk junk.
Well, that was more Brody. That was more Brody Bruce.
Yeah, but still, that was funny as hell. It was just hilarious. That was probably the best part of the movie, I would say.
I like the whole movie. I love the whole movie. But yeah, that is a highlight. And the funny thing is this movie. The funny thing is they kind of ran through all the cameos of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Who's the cameo for this movie? Ben Affleck for 10 seconds, and all he says, "I'm just saying that's not very very hygienic," and that's all I'm going to say. And he just leaves.
Yes.
Well, and Jason Lee is that douchebag.
Well, that's not really a cameo per se by a big name actor or whatever. That was just Jason Lee as a douche.
But I mean, at the time, My Name is Earl was beginning to be popular. So I guess you can say that was when he was trying to establish himself outside of Kevin Smith.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
I mean, it wasn't as big as Ben Affleck, but at the time, he was trying to find a way to establish himself.
Yeah, no, I can see what you're saying, George. Really. Okay, can we just talk about? All right, let's talk about who's the superior girl in this movie, Becky or Emma?
Becky.
Yeah, Becky. Not to mention, I've known many Beckys and I will say this: I have known many Beckys in my lifetime, and they are all awesome. So yeah, it's Becky. But Emma is just okay. The whole conversation about the fact that she has an oversized clit.
Right.
And Randall's like, he's like, I don't want a girl with oversized clit because the next thing is a guy with an undersized pecker.
Stick. Yeah. Or when they're in the little playground, he's like, you were persona non nookie as soon as you hooked up with Dante, you might as well be a dude. You know, you might as well be a dude as far as I'm concerned. And then she
flashes him. I mean, not full flashes him, but just flashes him in her bra.
Right.
Although that bra was awful thin.
No, I mean you could see through it, which I'm like,
yeah, I
Kevin,
know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no kid. Like, jeez. Like, okay, and the fact that she's what? Okay, geek, spill. Come on.
What? No, I'm just laughing with you guys.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
No, I was just laughing with you guys. That's
no,
all.
Okay, geek. That's fine. George, let me ask you. If you had your pick between the two girls, who would you pick?
Becky.
Yeah, because she can dance and she's not a raging, controlling she-witch.
Exactly.
And you know, I have to say, when Emma says, "Oh, him thinking again, ain't that cute?" I'm like, no. Like, Dante, what the hell are you thinking? You've got
right.
You've got a perfectly good woman who's carrying your child, and when Randall goes on that rant,
calls him a hideous chud of a kid or something like
that. Like, the child's not going to be that ugly.
Child.
I mean, she's. Say that again, George.
May your child be a masculine child.
May your first child be a masculine child. Yeah, honestly. Well, George, we said this, I think, before you got in here. The fact that we have the future Ahsoka Tano in this movie just elevates this movie 10 times more.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna say this. I thought Rosario Dawson did a very nice Ahsoka.
That's what we are saying, geek.
No, I know that's what you're saying. I'm agreeing with you.
You're not allowed to agree.
I always got to be the controversial one.
You're not controversial. You're just contrary. You're just a stuffy old grandpa. Kind of like Dante through part of this movie. I mean, like,
the thing with Emma, the reason why I would go with Becky and not Emma is simply put, Emma reminds me way too much of my ex-wife.
Yeah,
and we'll leave it at that.
Yep, same here.
Oh shit, man! I got 3 people all both like nodding their head.
What?
No, I agree. It's just overbearing, demanding, all that
Snarky.
shit.
And can we just
always superior?
And I'm just gonna say, I'm not saying this to disparage the lady who plays Emma, but just how they made her up, the blonde hair and all of that, she just looks just mean and kind of average.
I think that's I'm seeing real life wife.
Yeah, I know, but how they made her up in this movie, she just looks completely unappealing. But you know, in real life, we've seen pictures of her. She doesn't look half bad, really.
Right. And in Jay and Bob, she was one of those.
One of the heist.
One of the heist ladies. She looked really good.
Yeah, she did. But yeah, Emma was just evil. Becky was delightful.
True.
I mean, she screwed Dante on a prep table at movies. What the hell?
I mean, that sounds fun.
Hey, man, when you got an itch, you got to scratch it.
Okay. Ew, that's my prep table. I already said that.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you did, but it's still funny, Jack. I've had, and I am excluding my marriage, I've had some interesting encounters in some interesting places, but I've never done it in a restaurant. Never ever done it in a restaurant, much less in a restaurant kitchen.
Oh, if only I talked about that part of my life.
We don't want to know, geek. We don't want to know.
Don't worry, I don't talk about that aspect of my life. Ever.
Good.
It's actually a rule. It's actually something that got me in trouble in a few channels because I was like, okay, I'm leaving. Like, why? I'm like, because I'm not comfortable hearing about your sex life. And I'm like, I'm not going to talk about mine. And I'm like, yeah, I don't do that. That is one subject. I'll talk religion, I'll talk politics, but yeah, that aspect, no. That is the most off limits. So I just wanted you to know
and I
that.
don't blame you.
I will say this about
I get it, geek.
In the before the movie came out, this was back in the 2006 when MySpace was a big thing. If you remember MySpace.
Yes.
And so
I had a MySpace page.
So
yep.
In order to help promote it, they started a MySpace page for the Clerks 2 movie, and anybody who had friended that or whatever, they got put on the credits.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I think I heard about that, but oh man, I hadn't thought about that.
And there
ended up MySpace was MySpace was the OG social media back then.
Right. Yep. And they actually ended up putting 200,000 people on the credits.
Wow.
Now here's the thing. They have their normal credits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then after that, it's like these MySpace, it's like the MySpace credits or whatever. And it flies by. It flies by. And there's like 4 columns of names and just fly. So you got to like pause it at the right moment to get to see your name.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
But how cool is it to see your name on the credits in a movie theater? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that would be really cool.
I don't know. I never. Oh, by the way, Ambassador, I've been wanting to compliment you on something. I really like that new poster on the left.
Oh, Kenobi?
Yes.
Yeah. We got this from
I very much I'm not trying to hijack anything, but I very much enjoyed that. I very much enjoyed that series.
As did I. We actually got this from Disney Movie Club.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I just haven't talked about it because all the controversy. I'm trying to figure out where I want to navigate that shit.
Well, go take a look at what I did. I reviewed it. Excuse me. So. Well, guys, any other comments on Clerks 2? Because I think we've gone through it pretty well. So, any other thoughts? Anything you want to say about it? Anything just in general about Clerks 2?
One of my favorite comedy sequels ever, and probably my second favorite film in this universe. Yeah, and as I said, like when we talked about Clerks the other night, like all 3 Clerks films are in my top 4 favorite Kevin Smith movies of all time already. So,
oh, nice, good for you, bud.
Yeah, yeah, like it's one of my that like for some reason just the donkey show sequence is my favorite. I don't know why, like just how absurd it is. Just, you know what I mean? Like, especially when the cops come in and they see the entire, scene.
The whole thing.
They got the donkey and the guy's hugging the donkey. And oh, by the way, hug the donkey.
But you just made an Orville reference.
That was unintentional. But he's hugging the donkey. You got Elias with his pants down, going woo.
I love pussy and beer.
You got Dante on the floor covered in cake. You got you got Jay and Bob and Randall just like they want to bail, but fucking there's nowhere to go, nowhere to bail off to.
Yeah.
Becky bails, and Emma's already gone by then. But like that was a crazy, like the light with the purple lighting and the fog machine.
Jeez. And the fact that Dante is like, oh no, not again. He calls the cops and he calls the fire department. And it turns out to be the fog machine.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Dante. Yep. He had the minor case of PTSD. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, if you ever have a bad day at work, just remember Dante's had 2 worse days than you have.
Oh, he's.
Yeah.
Well, wait till Clerks 3. He'll have
Oh
another
my
bad day.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna have to. I'll have to wait till it comes out on video, on home video. But I will get a copy. I have to now.
Yeah.
Yes, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. And he's also plays a really small part in the beginning of Jane Bob Reboot.
that was funny. That part was funny.
I still haven't seen that yet.
I haven't either, geek. So don't feel bad.
That one I mean, we'll talk about that later, but I really like that the father-daughter aspect of that movie.
Yeah, that's what I've heard a lot of people say about Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. So, Anyway, okay, folks. Well, I think that's it. Yeah, geek. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say what it is one of the things I always say is comedy is very subjective.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would say Kevin Smith, with his movies, it's kind of a niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say on that. And I'm not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing because we all have things we like that other people don't like.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And it's like I said, oh, shit.
No thanks, maybe later.
No. That was my alarm telling me to take my evening meds.
Yeah, I was my buddy Zach Leary. He messaged me yesterday, and he's like, "Hey, dude," he's like, "I'm sorry I didn't come on for these streams." He's like, for me, it's." He's like, I can't stand Kevin Smith. I was like, dude, it's fine. I'm not offended. It's like, I get it.
Everyone.
Yeah, he isn't. And not every movie is going to be universally loved. Not every director or actor is going to be universally loved, and that's okay. Because as my mother-in-law says, everybody's got different tastes, and that's what makes the world just a little bit better. And she's right. So, but anyways, folks, I think we're going to go and wrap up for this afternoon. And I do want to thank everybody who tuned in today, and all my panelists who joined me: Jack Beers, George, DJ Odyssey, Geek, of course. This is a wrap up for this year for this Birthday Bash review series, and I want to thank everybody who tuned in, everybody who watched, everybody who participated over the last several days, and y'all made this birthday just a little bit more awesome, and I appreciate y'all. I do want to let y'all know I will be back this Thursday afternoon. Myself and the Council of Ones will be continuing our review of Crusade, the Babylon 5 spinoff, with episode 6. So that will be back at our normal time of 3:30 Central. So be sure to tune in for that. And of course, over the next few weeks, going to be starting up the reviews for Andor, of course. And once She-Hulk wraps up, me and the Madam Ambassador and whoever else wants to join will be doing our review of She-Hulk, the whole series. And next month, October, the season of The Witch, All Hallows Eve, is going to be fun-filled and spooktacular. Going to be doing reviews for Hocus Pocus, the original film. Going to be doing a comparison of the original 1930s Dracula and Bram Stoker's Dracula, starring Gary Oldman, directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Wow.
Going to be doing review for with my good friend Mr. Zach Leary of one of his favorite films, and I've only seen part of this movie once. I think it's one of the Hammer films starring Vincent Price, The Fall of the House of Usher, based on the classic story by one of my favorite authors, Edgar Allan Poe, and going to be doing a little bit something goofy and fun as well. Going to be doing a review of both Addams Family movies, the one starring Raul Julia, Angelica Houston, and Christopher Lloyd as Morticia Gomez and Fester. So
good
those are hysterical movies. Absolutely love them. I wanted to do some creepy, but I also wanted to do some creepy / funny this year for Halloween. So anyways, folks, you all have a great evening. I will see you all later this week. We will see you all around. Remember to stay ambassadorial. Have a great week. And until next time, these are the ambassadors. Signing off.